Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
And welcome back to High School Basketball Weekly. Tim Moore alongside of Rick Bull. And Rick, we are in playoff mode here in Berkshire County and all of the state of Massachusetts as the high school basketball season now is in the final stretches, and we've got some great action to bring to you this week and some good action coming up over the next weekend. And it's been a dandy of a last week, Rick.
It's been a lot of fun, Tim. We've covered some great games last week on the show. John Franzoni and I talked about the end of the regular season for some teams. And of all the Berkshire County teams, I looked this up today because I wasn't 100% sure, but of all the Berkshire County teams, boys and girls, unfortunately, only the Mount Greylock Mounties did not have a team participate in either the MIAA or Division IV or the Western Mass tournament. Everybody else had a representative or representatives. So there's still a lot of action going on in Berkshire County, and we've got a lot to report starting right now with the girls.
Yeah, one team that was in tournament action, Rick, McCann Tech Mounties, they finished out their season in an impressive fashion with a big win.
And, you know, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I know the girls wish they had a better record, had a better season, and maybe made the Western Mass tournament. But they're gonna finish their season on a winning note, and a lot of schools don't do that, Tim. So they've got a lot to be thankful for. They, again, have a very, very young team down there, and they're just going to have to be very patient and let Coach Justin Krantz get his program going. The enrollment at the school is very strong, and they've got a lot of female athletes. They've got other strong programs like soccer, lacrosse, right, and softball. They're doing very, very well, and hopefully it'll roll over to the basketball team. It wasn't too long ago. They had some really, really strong teams, but when you're playing with young kids and a new coach, a new program, it's going to take a little bit of time. But I'm really, really happy for them. I'm glad they finished on a winning note, beating St. Mary's 55-33. That's a great win, and a great job for senior Maya Todd. What a way for her to go out. She led the way with 22, right. And if Coach Krantz could only get scoring like this on a more regular basis, Faith Brazo had 12, Madison Rougeau 8, and Aiden Champney 7. That is four kids that can score, the four kids that did most of the scoring for McCann this season. And if they can do that, they're going to get some victories.
Without a doubt, Rick. Well, let's take a look, if we get a chance here now, Rick. Let's look at the brackets here for the Western Mass tournament that concluded this past weekend. And it was an exciting thing on the girls' side. Let's talk for a minute about the Class B Western Mass tournament. And there it is, the bracket up there, Rick. And the championship game was an absolute delight between two really outstanding teams, Pittsfield and South Hadley.
Yeah, and when you and I were at Westfield High doing the Hoosick Valley and the jury games last week, they had announced at the table the halftime score, which was like a point differential. I believe it was something like 28-27 Pittsfield, but they hung on. And we've been talking about the South Hadley team for a long, long time. They've been the cream of the crop in the league that the Suburban, I think, where the Hoosick Valley girls also play. A very, very good squad, and they came away with a 52-47 victory. And if you take a look at all three classes, Tim, very typical that 1 and 2 faced off in the finals.
Right. And switching now to the Class C Western Mass tournament in which Drury participated, Rick. The Blue Devils had a disappointing loss in the semifinals to a very good Renaissance team in the semifinals there. Renaissance, the number 2 seed, Drury, the number 3 seed. But although they lost 65-45, this is kind of the score doesn't belie how good this team is. And Renaissance, of course, undefeated. But this was a good game between these two teams.
Yeah, they faced off last year. Renaissance also on the same floor on their home court knocked Coach Ian Downey's kids out, and it happened for the second consecutive year. And they're just going to have to mentally, prepare for schools that have larger kids, very athletic girls. It's a very good program. In that game, Hannah Lacasse scored 14 for Drury, Edison Shepard and Ashlyn Hayden each had 8. Jacinta Felix had 7. So, they'll regroup. I'm sure they've had a good week of practice, and they are now getting ready to take on, in the first round of the MIA, number 25 Collegiate Charter of Lowell, who was a 49-34 winner over North Brookfield. So Drury will start tonight, as a matter of fact, up at the Basketbll gym, and hopefully they'll get things rolling again. And they have a pretty good bracket. I like the bracket they're in. The one we're looking at right now, the Western Mass, as you can see, Tim, when it came to number 1 Lennox and number 2 Renaissance, I had a feeling, Drury had a much harder time with Renaissance than they did Lennox. Lennox only beat them by 3 up at the Basketball gym, and Renaissance won that Class C with a 48-41 win over the Millionaires, giving them their first loss.
Yeah, that was a battle of unbeatens there, Rick, as both Lennox and Renaissance came into that game, in that championship game, undefeated. They were 20-0. As was Renaissance, both undefeated, and of course somebody had to lose, and in this case it was Lennox. But both those teams are highly seeded in the state MIA tournament. Lennox got the 4 seed, and Renaissance got the 5 seed, which is interesting given the results of this game. But that was a great tournament. Drury getting to the semifinals there, but no shame there. You're talking 3 highly ranked teams in Division 5.
Yeah, and not trying to make any excuses, but I talked to Coach Downey, and he really feels that his kids had a disadvantage playing Renaissance on their home floor in what they call a junior high gym, very small, and they're used to playing on that very small gym, and they're big and they're very athletic, and we'll have to see what happens down the road with the Renaissance team as they, at some point, I'm assuming the Final Four will move out of there to a neutral site, to a larger floor with some pretty stiff competition. So it's a very good club. Nicole Patella's club is a very good club. I'm sure they would love another rematch with them. But let's not forget about the Hoosick Valley Hurricanes.
Right. And in Class D, Hoosick Valley, for the 4th consecutive year, has won the Western Mass title, defeating, in this case, Munson 68-41 to win their 4th consecutive Western Mass tournament title, and it just continues to roll on for the Hurricanes. But like the game between Renaissance and Drury, this game was a 3-point game in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah,
it's
hard to explain to the fans, but the end of the first quarter in that game was 18-0. There's Ashlyn LaShore. This is all first half action. Emma Mesor steps back. She drains a 3. And there's Reagan Shea knocking down a 3 also, again in the first half. There's a nice feed underneath and a little upsy-do. Then Mesor, she got it to go. And then Genevieve Leguest, that's her patented play right there. She's a lefty. She takes the feed and put it off the glass. And Hoosick Valley Hurricanes, as you said, Tim, for the 4th consecutive years, they've won the Class D Western Mass Championship. As many years as they've had it, they've been the champ.
Right, exactly. And there they are, the winners, collecting the hardware for the 4th consecutive year. It was a great tournament, especially the championship down at Westfield. Good facility for the game. And congratulations to Hoosick Valley. As you indicated, Rick, they had some balanced scoring throughout there. Emma Mesor and Ashlyn LaShore each with 13. Genevieve Leguest with 11, but I'm sorry, when they beat Munson, LaShore had 25 and Mesor had 18. So the 2 seniors really had a great tournament for Hoosick Valley.
Yeah, they did, and they have been consistent all year long in scoring. But then up pops very early in the season, Reagan Shea was in double figures a lot too. So they had 3 most often, and then lately in the second half of the season, when she got more playing time with Mira Capiello's injury, Genevieve Leguesse, who really came on strong. She had an excellent second half, and she's averaged very close to 10 points, but she's averaged double figures during that time that she's been a starter, and she played a major role.
Yep.
I do want to say, Tim, that I'm sure the Hurricanes simply play with the way their rankings came out and the way the seedings were, but they had a much easier run than the Class C with,
no question
with
about it.
Renaissance and Lennox right there. So we'll see what happens when they possibly clash down the road in the MIAAs. But Munson was a number 2 seed, and they had a subpar 500 record.
Right.
So it was not easy. Don't get me wrong, but it was an easier run for the Hurricanes in Class D than it would have been in Class C.
Yeah.
And if they're going to see Lennox or they're going to see Renaissance, it's going to be down the road.
Yep, absolutely. Let's switch over to the boys' action for a moment. Rick, could talk about the boys' action. Two teams, Greylock, they won their final game of the season, beating St. Mary's 64-56. So they had a tough season. They went out on a winning note.
Yeah, they were winless, and they finally got their wins, and it was almost back-to-back. And again, like the McCann girls, they're going to walk away in the offseason with a victory, which is very nice. Nolan Barnes, who has been the highest, brightest spot for the Mounties for Tommy Verdell this year, the sophomore, had an excellent season. He had 27 points. I believe it may be a career high for him. Brady Auger had 18 and Cole Creighton had 10. So just like I mentioned a few moments ago with the McCann girls, the Mount Greylock boys, if they can get some double-figure scoring in that program down the road, and they have some returners coming back next year, and hopefully they'll come up with a better record next year.
Yeah, best of luck to Mount Greylock going forward. Switch over to McCann Tech here for a moment. Rick, they finished the season strong. They did drop their preliminary round game in the state tournament to Maynard. Yeah,
well, let's talk about Coach Bullett's kids. Last week, Tim, we applauded them for getting into tournament mode with about 2 weeks left to go in the season.
Right.
And they won their last 4 games to go 10-10. They were 6-10. They won their last 4. That 10-10 got them a berth. Now, they didn't qualify, of course, for the Western Mass tournament, but they did qualify for the MIA D5 at a number 38 seed. And unfortunately, they had to travel. They had to go to Maynard. And I don't know what kind of a squad Maynard. That's a pretty good margin, 63-27. So they've got to be a darn good ball club. Maynard's a 27.
Right.
Maynard was the champion of the D5 2 years ago, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago.
It was only a couple of years ago. That's exactly right.
I saw Maynard play the Drury Blue Devils and take Drury out up at the Bucky Bullet Gym, and they went on to win the whole thing. So that's the same program. So no shame there with Coach Bullett's kids traveling 2.5 hours. But nevertheless, they got the opportunity to participate, and they can't take that away from them. In that ball game, Zach Howland led with 9. No one was in double figures. Senior Jack Dolan finished his career with a couple of threes for 6 points. McCann trailed all the way 16-9, 35-17, and 46-19. So they just couldn't get it going offensively, evidently.
Right.
But again, Zach Howland, I believe, is going to be a senior next year. I think he's a junior this year. I'm not sure about Eric Rougeau. Kyle Rougeau will be back. But we'll see what Chris Bullock can put together next year. But congratulations on them at least finishing 10-10, 10-11 now, but qualifying for the tournament. That's quite a feat.
Yeah, it certainly is. They finished on a very strong note. Let's talk a little bit now about the Western Mass tournaments for the boys. We'll put the brackets up here if we got them. I don't know if we do on the boys' side, but it's great action. Let's go quickly to the boys' Class B tournament, Rick. And as we thought, the top 4 seeds ended up playing each other. It was a whale of a tournament, and the championship game was Saturday night at the Boys Club in Pittsfield, and Monument Mountain captured the Class B Western Mass Championship.
Yeah, that was a great game. I got to watch it on Pittsfield Community TV. They were doing that game live. Monument last year, Tim, if you remember, played a really, really close ball game with Taconic and took one on the chin. They found a way to come back. Now, Pittsfield beat Taconic, which means that during the regular season, Taconic won both games at the Boys Club.
Right.
And how many times do we say teams that are very, very close in talent, it's very, very tough to beat them 3 times. Pittsfield found a way to knock off Taconic. They just could not find a way to knock off Randy Colas' kids. But I had Monument Mountain winning it last year, and they didn't. I had Taconic or PHS winning it this year, and they didn't. So congratulations to Monument.
Absolutely.
With the team they had last year, with Khalil Carlson and the cast of guys that are with Randy Colas right now, I thought was a little bit stronger team than this year's. But he's got some kids that came off the bench and hadn't scored much in the playing time that they have, and they really stepped up in the second half of the season.
Yep.
And they played a major role in that win against PHS.
Getting back to now Class C and Class D. In the Class D tournament, Pioneer Valley came out the winner. Hoosick Valley got to the semifinals, Rick, before falling to Duggan in a high-scoring ball game, 80-73.
Yeah, in that ball game, Trey Moynihan scored 31, Aiden Wicks had 16, and Cornell Bradley 12. So Coach Robinson's big 3 came through. But defense has been the Achilles heel, I think, for the Hurricanes this year.
Right.
They can score. They can put some points on the board. They got kids that can score. And it'll be interesting as they kick into D5, where they're actually going to get a home game themselves. But they're going to be playing St. John Paul II in Cheshire. They were a 55-52 winner over Athol. Right. So Athol probably be a little bit more familiar for Coach Robinson because they're a Western Mass Pioneer Valley team. They're
the number 13 seed, so they're going to play tonight against at home against St. John Paul. And Rick, of course, looking at the MIAA Division 5, Drury is the number 4 seed. If Hoosick and Drury win the round of 32 games, they are going to end up playing each other next week up at Drury being the higher seed. They'll get the home game. So the Arch Rivals will play each other at Drury on either Monday or Tuesday. You have to stay tuned on that. And hopefully, we're hoping here at Northern Berks Community Television, we're going to be able to bring that action to you live. It's going to be quite an event if those two teams can face off. They have in the past faced off in the Western Mass Tournament. I don't believe they've ever played each other in the state tournament, but it looks like a very real possibility that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to it, and I'm sure the kids are looking forward to it. But I'll tell you what, we often talk about teams, Tim, that match up very well with other teams, and we talk about this is a team you don't want to play. I can tell you that if I was a Drury Blue Devil fan, this is a team I don't want to see again. Right. That'll be up at the Bucky-Billie Gym if it happens, and we're planning on it happening. And it's going to be a great thing. It's the closest thing I can even recall was when McCann and Drury faced off in the D5 up at the Bucky-Billie Gym a few years ago, and they shut the doors. We packed the house, and it'll be packed next week if both these teams can get through the first round. Absolutely. And speaking of Drury, in the Class C tournament, the Drury Blue Devils, it ended the seedings held, and 1 and 2 ended up playing Granby and Drury. And what a ball game it was, Rick. We covered it down at Westfield, and it was an absolute dandy. Yeah, it was one of the top 5 games I think you and I and Peter Gentile talked about Saturday that we've ever covered here on Northern Berkshire Community Television. And again, we really we want so badly the teams we cover to come out ahead. Right. And we try to be very biased in how we broadcast the game, and I think we did. But there were a lot of broken hearts at the end of that game.
Right.
I looked up at the scoreboard, and I'm trying to call the game with you. And here's some first half action.
Yeah, James Morellis, a big three early on, Rick.
There's freshman Sam Bullitt knocking down one of his 5 threes in the ball game.
What a huge game Sam Bullitt had for Drury, and of course Jorge Bond there.
Just a given to Sam Mormon with the left hand off the glass. Hinkle gets it over, and there's another three, and Hinkle sees an opening. This is an overtime. This is a nice, strong move. And
he was
and
very
with
strong
10
in
seconds left in the game now, 10 seconds left in overtime, Raymond Cologne goes up, and Dipsy Do goes in, and it's an and one.
And gets fouled, and one.
And that broke the hearts of the Drury fans right there. He felt contact, and he got the whistle. He just flipped the ball up in the air,
right?
Just to get in the act of shooting, and the ball ended up going through the hoop. And he made the free throw, and Granby, the number 1 seed, came away with a 62-60 win over the Blue Devils. Well, Tim, let's talk about that for a minute.
Right.
As you said, we covered that ball game, and there's certain things that I thought about on the way home, like if Jorge Bond does not foul out late in the fourth quarter, I think Drury holds on.
Right.
If Drury didn't go cold from the free throw line in the last minute and only made 1 of 8, if they had made 4 of 8, I think they win it. And one of the other key factors is you'd have to go and watch the game and dissect it, and we're not going to do that. We don't want anybody to do that. But James Morellis, I believe, was well covered. And so they were trying to get the ball in bounds. They got the ball in bounds to Zane Cayley once. They got it into Sammy Mormon. They got it into Connor Hinkle. And kids that were knocking down their free throws the whole game had a little bit of problems with their free throws at the end of the game. So in championship teams, John Franzoni told me, you need to stay poised. You need to play defense. You need a big shot, and you need to make your free throws. And that's from a coach's perspective. And what a great job Drury did defensively on a senior-oriented team. I think, Tim, if you recall, when we did the roster, of the 11 kids, I think there were at least 9 seniors.
Yes, this is a senior-laden team.
It was. And then Raymond D. Cologne, not to be confused with Raymond A., I think, Cologne, who was a junior. He had a huge half, and he scored all 13 of his points in the second half, which made the difference, I think.
Yeah, it certainly did. And one of the other things we want to talk about is if you want to see this game, it's going to be rebroadcast right here on Channel 1302. It's going to be on tomorrow night, Friday, at 8:30. It's going to be also rebroadcast this coming Sunday, March 2nd at 2:30 in the afternoon, and then Monday, March 3rd at 4 o'clock, and then Wednesday, March 5th at 8:30 p.m. Check the listings. You get a chance to see this game. Outstanding competition, outstanding high school competition here between Drury and Granby, and Drury just coming up short in the Class C Western Mass Championship. And again, Rick, I want to point out, Drury got the number 4 seed in Division 5 in the state tournament that's now underway. They've got games coming up, and Hoosick Valley got the 13th seed, and so they are in the bracket. They are pointed to play each other if they win their opening round games this week. Tonight and tomorrow, they will play up at Drury. That game is yet to be scheduled, but it would be scheduled on Monday, Tuesday, and if it does happen, we'll be there live right here on Channel 1302. So you want to check the listings, check iBerkshires for the lineup of games coming up in the state tournament, and we'll of course have all the action for you, whether tape or live, in that tournament.
One of the things I'd like to add, Tim, is the game right after this program will be the semifinals of the Western Mass Class C. It's the Drury Blue Devils against the Ware Indians. In that ball game, Jorge Bond had 27, Sam Mormon had 12, and Connor Hinkle had 10. So that's the game that got Drury to Westfield.
Right.
So enjoy that one right after this program tonight.
Right. That's coming up next right here as our game of the week on High School Basketball Weekly. And of course, we haven't really talked that we did with the girls, Rick, back when Drury Hoosick, we came out with our top 10 teams for Drury and Hoosick Valley that we compiled based on loads and loads of information that we got from our viewers, et cetera. And there it is, the top 10 of all time that we put together for Hoosick/Adams, and it spans a long period of time going back to 1950 with Stan Casella there on a Western Mass title team that ultimately played in the New England Championships. Stan was on that team, great forward with his brother Joe, and of course Bob Eichhorn, 1956, a great three-sport athlete, tremendous, the first 1,000-point scorer in Berkshire County history in boys basketball back when there was no three-point line. And of course, you see a lot of familiar names on that list.
Sure.
Rick, people we've seen play live and people we saw as youngsters, and it's quite a lineup of individuals spanning back from 1950 up to the present. So that was our top 10 list on the Hoosick side. Switching over to the Drury side, we put together a list, and it was quite a list of players. And there you see it goes back to the 1950s. And when we did this at the Hoosick Drury game, it was extremely interesting that we had a lot of people the house for that one.
Right, at that ball game,
right.
The Hoosick Drury game, there was a Coach Reset himself.
Right.
Reese Reset was there.
Yep.
Kevin Bosley was there.
Yes.
Hayden Bird was there. Tommy Bullock came.
Yeah.
Actually was there.
Yeah. I had a chance to speak with Tommy.
And Scott McGuire was there.
Yeah. So we had a tremendous list, but there it is.
6 out of the 10.
Yeah. It was really a lot of fun to see those players, especially for me. Talk with Tommy Bullock, a guy I played against in high school. Let's put it this way. As I told him, I tried to play against him. He was outstanding in his own right, and he enjoyed the game and enjoyed seeing some of the outstanding young players of the current Drury squad. Of course, he was there, his nephew there, Sammy Bullitt, and just great to see everybody. But that was the list, and it was a lot of fun putting it together. We're going to work on lists for next year as well. But we had a lot of fun. It stimulated a lot of interest. We got a chance to talk to a lot of people and a lot of knowledge about these teams over
We
the
did.
years.
We really found out that our sports enthusiasts, our avid basketball fans, didn't disappoint. They contacted us either via telephone, email, text messages, and it was great. It was great for us to put together, a tally of what the local fans wanted to see over the years.
Right.
And again, it's really, really hard to go back because it's hard to talk about some of the great athletes from the 40s and 50s because we didn't know enough about them, and there's really not a lot of folks still living that could help us out. So
right.
we pretty much were able to start with, like for the boys, maybe the early 60s.
Sure.
For the girls, of course, it was the mid-70s.
Absolutely, no question about it. Well, Rick, that's about going to wrap it up. We want to again remind everybody to check their listings and continue to follow along here at High School Basketball Weekly and at Northern Berkshire Community Television as we are putting together broadcast schedules of the MIAA state tournament. We will be doing games live, hopefully, and tape of the local teams that are in action coming up over the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So stay tuned, and of course we are hopeful that we'll be doing a live broadcast. That'd be fabulous if Drury and Hoosick can advance. They'll play each other on the boys' side of the Division V tournament.
Absolutely, we're looking forward to it very much. And don't forget, if you want to watch this program, you're watching it tonight. It's Thursday, every Thursday at 7:30. We replay it again twice over the weekend, Saturday morning at 10 and Sunday evening at 7.
And it's followed by our game of the week, and this week it's going to be Drury and Ware.
Drury and Ware. Yep.
So stay tuned. We'll see you next week on High School Basketball Weekly.
So long, everybody. Thanks a lot.